Dear scholars, Table Talks Education, let us proceed with advanced biology. This time, let us look at causes of genetic variation. Causes of genetic variation. So, causes of genetic variation. Specifically, I just need us to start with the causes of genetic variation. Then, after doing that, we shall see, of course, other causes of variation in organisms which are not genetical. But the major ones, of course, are those ones which are genetical. Now, how does variation arise among individuals of a species? So now, we have what we call gene reshuffling. Gene reshuffling, also called sexual recombination, also called sexual recombination. So now, gene reshuffling refers to the formation of new gene combinations during sexual reproduction. Okay? Formation of new gene combinations or allele combinations during sexual reproduction as a result of one, crossing over of genes between homologous chromosomes, then two, independent assortment during meiosis, and then three, random fertilization. So the moment a candidate or a student has talked about those three, random fertilization, then independent assortment, and crossing over of genes between homologous chromosomes, and then lastly, mutation, then you will be able to describe or to explain the causes of genetic variation. So now, I will write that one is gene reshuffling. Gene reshuffling. Gene reshuffling. Gene reshuffling, that is one. Gene reshuffling is one, which is the creation, which is the creation of new gene combinations, creations of new gene combinations during sexual reproduction, during sexual reproduction. So, gene reshuffling is the creation of new gene combinations or new allele combinations during sexual reproduction, as a result of Roman 1 crossing over of genes, between homologous chromosomes, crossing over of genes between homologous chromosomes during during prophase 1, during prophase 1 of meiosis, during prophase 1 of meiosis 1, prophase 1 of meiosis 1. I will first highlight them here, and then in the subsequent videos, then we will be looking at how crossing over of genes between homologous chromosomes during the prophase 1 of meiosis 1 bring about variation. So we shall be discussing each one of these independently and see how, of course, briefly, they bring about variation. Then two, we have independent assortment. Independent assortment. Independent assortment. We can leave it at that. In the subsequent videos, you will be told how independent assortment brings about variation in organisms. Then, 3, we have what we call random fusion. Random fusion of gametes. Random fusion of gametes. Random fusion of gametes. Random fusion of gametes during sexual reproduction. During sexual reproduction. During sexual reproduction. Of course, briefly, I have said, as we move on, then we shall see how each one of these bring about genetic variation in organisms. Now, we also have, of course, that is 1. Then 2, we can talk about mutation. Mutation. In brief, we say that refers to change. Refers to a sudden change. We talk about sudden change or spontaneous change. Whenever we are defining mutation, refers to a sudden or spontaneous change in the genetic matter of organisms. Refers to a sudden change, sudden or spontaneous change in the amount or structure or arrangement, in the amount or structure or arrangement of DNA. Arrangement of DNA of an organism. Arrangement of DNA in an organism. That's what we call mutation. Refers to a sudden or spontaneous change, abrupt change in the amount, structure, arrangement of DNA in an organism. So now, you can see 3 words. You are saying amount, it could be structure, or it could be the arrangement of DNA in an organism. Is what we call mutation. We have different kind of mutation that we shall look at in the subsequent time, but today we are looking at the causes of genetic variation. And in this video, they have only been highlighted. But now, in the next video, we are going to see how each one of these causes of genetic variation brings about variation in organisms. But now, before we end this video, what we call NB, gene reshuffling, gene reshuffling, gene reshuffling, gene reshuffling. Gene reshuffling is also, or we say gene reshuffling accounts for genetic recombination, okay? Accounts for genetic recombination. Or we say is also called sexual recombination. Sexual recombination is also called sexual recombination. Gene reshuffling is also called sexual recombination, and it accounts for what we call discontinuous variation, and it accounts for discontinuous variation. So gene reshuffling, sexual recombination, and also it accounts for discontinuous variation. So that is how the causes of genetic variation have been highlighted. Of course, in the preceding videos, I'm going to highlight how each one of these now cause variation in the organisms. Let us meet in another video.